let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. We need to talk about them being contenders or pretenders. The Cincinnati Bengals, fresh off the win over the Denver Broncos in OT, 30-24. Many people say it wasn't a touchdown catch, but I digress. I think it was. Obviously, it was. They ended up winning the game. They now have a 11% chance to make the playoffs as of right now. What they need to do is they need to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 18, and the Denver Broncos need to lose to the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 18 as well. If they do that, they will get the 7th overall seed in the AFC Playoffs. And with that being said, they will be playing the Buffalo Bills or the Baltimore Ravens in the first round, depending on if the Ravens can continue their winning ways and the Buffalo Bills do drop a game. However, the Cincinnati Bengals guys are 1-7 versus playoff teams so far this season. If the Denver Broncos miss the playoffs, right? Now, if they make the playoffs, they would be 2-7. But as of right now, they are 1-7 versus playoff-bound teams. When you look at their offense, right, they had the 10th ranked overall offense. First in passing, as you can see, Joe Burrow, Mr. 4,200-yard man himself, he's balling out. They are 6th in scoring, 5th in red zone offense, and 4th in third down offense. The defense has been the issue. Obviously, the defense on the Cincinnati Bengals have been the issue. There's no rhyme or reason about it. They have just been flat out bad. 28th overall on defense, 26th in passing, 21st in rushing, 28th in scoring, and 31st in red zone defense. They are bad. They are bad on defense. However, the last 3 games, they've been a lot better. Not counting the Denver Broncos game, but versus the Browns, they only gave up 6 points versus the Cleveland Browns. 157 passing yards to only 148 rushing yards. It sounds like a lot of rushing yards, but when you have Nicholas Chubb on your team, you're going to run the ball a lot. Then they held the Tennessee Titans just to 27 points, right? 209 yards passing to Mason Rudolph. 63 rushing yards. They are a very, very improved defense, right? And then versus the Dallas Cowboys, only gave up 20 points versus the Dallas Cowboys, 183 passing yards, and 25 rushing yards if you take out Rico. Guys, the Cincinnati Bengals defense has improved the last 3, and now you can say 4 weeks, adding in the Denver Broncos game here. Yes, there were spurts where I'm like, oh man, here we go. Shootout happened, right? Even over on our Facebook.com page, right? Facebook.com/Manor. Like I said, is there a fourth quarter shootout pending? I believe at the time it was 10-10. I'm like, and then we saw a defensive battle in like overtime, right? Yes, there was a lot of scoring. There was 20 points by the Bengals in the fourth quarter and overtime, and then 14 by the Broncos in the fourth quarter and like overtime. But the simple fact of the matter is, guys, the question is, are the Cincinnati Bengals contenders or pretenders in the playoffs? Can they win a wild card game? Guys, the Cincinnati Bengals are a team that nobody wants to see in the playoffs. They are 100% contenders. The Buffalo Bills don't want to see them. The Baltimore Ravens don't want to see them if the Baltimore Ravens could get up to that number two seed. If the Bengals get past the Bills in the first round, the Kansas City Chiefs don't want to see them. The only team that has beaten Patrick Mahomes, or the only active quarterback that has beaten Patrick Mahomes in the NFL, Joe Burrow. Guys, if the Bengals can continue to play somewhat decent defense and not this 28th overall, 31st in red zone, right? If they can do that and just play just a little bit better, 20th and better, bada bing, bada boom, guys, they are a Super Bowl winning team more than likely. Joe Burrow, MVP himself, cannot be stopped on the offensive side. It is what it is. Joe Burrow cannot be stopped. So, guys, in the comments below, let me know. Do you guys think the Cincinnati Bengals are contenders or pretenders if they make the playoffs? Can they win that wild card game versus the Buffalo Bills or the Baltimore Ravens, depending on how the number 2 seed falls out? Let me know. Josh Allen says they won't get in. The odds are too slim for them. Why is it not popping up? Because I'm in the wrong thing. Josh, the odds have been against the Cincinnati Bengals all season long. Let's just be honest. The odds against them all season long. They have not been over a 40% playoff chance since the month of October. Hell, let's flash back to what was it? Was it September? Was it September time frame when they lost like 2 or 3 games in a row? Let me load it here. Come on. Load schedule. I want to get this correct. So when they started out 0-3, right? Losses to the Patriots, losses to the Chiefs, losses to the Commanders, and then they lost to the Baltimore Ravens week 5, starting out the season off 1-4. Everybody said, oh, this team's done. They're trash. They're this, right? Joe Burrow, 164 versus the Patriots, 258 versus the Chiefs, 324 yards versus the Commanders. Everybody was saying the same thing. Yeah, their offense is good, but their defense is trash. Their defense is trash, right? They got better. They got better toward the end of the season, toward that middle part of the season, and then they played the Steelers, right, and the Ravens and blew it up again. But I don't care about 11% odds, right? I think that the Bengals are going to want to go in there and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, or they're going to go in there and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers on next week. On January 5th, they are going to go in there and they're going to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not because they're better than the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's just get that out of the way. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are better than the Cincinnati Bengals, but because the Steelers want to be that 5th seed. Steelers want to be that 5th seed. Bengals want to end it to the playoffs. And bada bing, bada boom, Bengals make it, because I do not see the Kansas City Chiefs sitting their starters week 18. I see them playing at least 3.5, 4 quarters, right? Playing 75, 80% of the game versus the Denver Broncos, because they got that bye week already. You don't want rust building up on Mahomes and the boys. The Broncos are going to lose that week 18 game. Cincinnati just got to win and they're in, right? They win and they're in. It would not shock me one bit if that Chiefs-Broncos game actually got flexed toward a later time. But odds are too slim. All they got to do is they got to win. The Broncos got to lose. Bada bing, bada boom. They are in. Jameis says the Chiefs don't want to see Joe Burrow. Jameson, you are right. I don't think anybody wants to see Joe Burrow in the AFC playoffs, to be honest, especially the Kansas City Chiefs. The Buffalo Bills don't want to see him. The Ravens certainly don't want to see him. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. Alexander says, how do you feel about the 49ers? That's a better question for Jameson. 49ers are they've had a rough season, right? A lot of injuries and just a lot of prima donna issues. They're having a rough season, but they will rebound like they always do. Jim Powell says, you are excited about them Bengals. This show is a little bit about Snoop Dogg, this show is about as lit as the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl. Come on, man. Don't be dogging the Cincinnati Bengals. Everybody counting them out, and now they hear, and people are scared. I'm scared as a Chiefs fan. As a Chiefs fan, I am scared. I am. But Casey says, whoa, slow it down, baby. They are pretenders. They're going to be a first-round exit. The Buffalo Bills are going to wax that ass, baby. Casey, pigskin pundit, my man. Slow it down. Jameson says, can Cincinnati Bengals beat Buffalo? If so, they can beat Kansas City. I think they can beat Buffalo Bills, right? I think they can go into Buffalo, and I think they can beat the Buffalo Bills as long as their defense plays like they have the last four weeks, Jameson. Now, if they revert back to if it is a shootout between Josh Allen and Joe Burrow, I got to lean more toward Josh Allen. If it's a shootout, I don't know. It is tough. It is going to be a great game to watch if that does happen, right? That will probably be the Saturday or the Sunday night primetime game. Let's just be honest. Rob Fay says Skull Vikings beat the Cheeseheads. Very good shot. Very good shot, Rob Fay. Very, very good shot. Casey says Chiefs already beat Cincinnati this year, so you are correct, Casey. However, that was back in week 2? A lot has changed on both teams since week 2. The Kansas City Chiefs have gotten a lot better, and the Cincinnati Bengals are playing a lot better as well. And in your defense, Casey, right? The Cincinnati Bengals and the Ravens are actually any team the Bengals, Ravens, Bills, Steelers, right? They want to step up and play their best game versus the Kansas City Chiefs. The Cincinnati Bengals definitely gave it all they got versus the Kansas City Chiefs, and they only lost by 1 point. The Kansas City Chiefs are kind of like, yeah, whatever, it is what it is. So I'm just saying. Him for life says, yo, what's your favorite NFL team? I am a Chiefs fan. I am a Kansas City Chiefs fan through and through. Derek says, does that win knock Peyton out of the Coach of the Year run? And to be honest, Derek, when we talk of Coach of the Year, have we really been talking about Sean Payton? Let's just be honest. Have we really been talking about Sean Payton as Coach of the Year candidate, right? A lot of it's been Dan Campbell, Kevin O'Connell, right? And then we had who was it? It was Dan Quinn, right there for a little while. I never really once heard Sean Payton's really name be brought up a little bit, right? But I think if you make it into the playoffs, like you still gotta talk to him about it, right? Jameson says the Kansas City Chiefs should rest Mahomes and Kelsey Jones and lose to Denver and block out Cincinnati's from getting in. No, because the Chiefs have a bye week. They've already been off for like 11 days, and then you rest them again for another 7 days, and then 7 days on top of that. That's 14 plus 11. That is 25 days of rest. That's too much. That's just way too much. Way too much. Applesauce says, why the F would the Chiefs start their starters, let alone play them for 3 quarters? Because of 25 days of rest. You don't need a whole month off. You don't. They've already had 11 days off. Going into January 5th, there'll be 11 days. And then they got another 14 days off on top of that. They'll be all right. They'll be all right. Casey says, Chiefs will at least play 1 quarter, but won't be surprised if they lose and block Cincinnati to troll them. You see, guys, what is a better thing here, right? Is it to knock your division rival out of the playoffs, or to knock a playoff rival in the Bengals out? I would much rather knock the Denver Broncos out. As a Kansas City Chiefs fan, like me, and I don't want to play Joe Burrow in the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't want to play them, but at the same time, I don't want the Broncos to make the playoffs either. Knock them out of there, right? Jameson says Tua is injured, Dolphins are out, and Indianapolis has to lose a game for the Cincinnati to get in apparently. Well, Tua is out and Anthony Richardson is both out. The Bengals pretty much own their own destiny, right? They have to win, and the Broncos lose. Bada bing, bada boom, they are in. The Dillons says the Bengals have just gotten a little unlucky. I think they've gotten really lucky, to be honest. The last 4 games, they've been balling out. The defense is playing a lot better. They were a little unlucky earlier in the season, I guess. I don't know if you want to call that. The defense just flat out sucked. The defense got a little bit better. Once the bye week has hit, the defense has gotten a lot better. I don't know. It is what it is. Jim says 8 straight games of 250 plus yards and 3 touchdowns. Joe Burrow is the man. Let's just be honest. Joe Burrow is the man. Stop sleeping on him, guys.